Hi guys, welcome back to the Star Wars figure review. Next video we're going to take a look at one of the figures I think a lot of us have been waiting for quite some time. I finally got this week from Star Action Figures, having pre-ordered it back just before Christmas time. And it's one related to, of course, the TV show that has recently come out, the book of Boba Fett. As you read by the caption and title, it is Boba Fett himself, based on the appearance. Now before we look at him, we'll take a look at the packaging that this one comes in. And you can already see from this, the figure is a deluxe in the line. And I do like that artwork on the side there, which is absolutely brilliant in regards to seeing Boba Fett in the line. I knew this was coming because the Fennec Shand figure was unveiled first, and sort of the edge of Boba was revealed on it, so it kind of became obvious that the next figure of the wave was going to be a version of Boba in the line. Now, as you see there on the back as well, it does look great too, and is of course indicated as Boba Fett in the throne room, and there's of course the description to read there. Now we have had a deluxe version of Boba Fett in the past, and that one basically it was based from Return of the Jedi, so it was one that was released last year, and that came with Boba Fett, and it also came with a handful of different accessories that included jetpack thrusters, a flamethrower, there was a wrist rocket cable thing, and also included with it was an extra blaster that was shown to be sliced in half, along with the jetpack and other parts that we'd usually see, and the standard weapon that we would usually see with Boba Fett. However, this time around, Hasbro have owned the only accessories are basically the ones you see on screen here. There are no extra rocket thrusters on the jetpack, there's no extra blasters, there's no cable launch, there's no flamethrower, so I'm honestly bewildered as to why Hasbro have decided to make this a deluxe figure. Like, it doesn't even come with a throne as well, because we have had a deluxe figure in the past, which has come with a throne, that being the Emperor Palpatine from 2019, which I do possess as well. But just seeing this was just quite a bit of a disappointment to see Hasbro drop down to this and charge the extra price for what is basically just a new version of a character we know before. The only real difference this one has over the other one is that this time the helmet is like an extra accessory this time, because it is removable, and it does capture Temuera Morrison's face brilliantly this time. They've always done it with the Clone Wars figures, and this time they've done it with Temuera Morrison based off his appearance in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, because this time of course he is genuinely played by Temuera Morrison and not just animated version of him, and I've got to give Hasbro props to that. But as I said, the lack of accessories just doesn't kind of justify the big price, I'd say there. Like, even though we've got that part to it, as you see the jetpack has come off as well, even though we've got that part to it, there's not really much else. The rangefinder does bend down, of course, and it is all a new sculpted design of the figure, which I do like, and it is a good figure just to see a whole brand new sculpt of the character before, because of course we did get a brand new sculpt of Boba Fett last year in regards to the Return of the Jedi figure, because they didn't just reuse the Empire Strikes Back sculpt, they gave us a brand new sculpt design, which was great. And of course the upcoming Droids Black Series Boba Fett as well, that one goes back to the old Empire Strikes Back sculpt, and we've had the carbonized. So the character is getting quite a lot of reissues. But putting that aside, this is a great figure. Like, if you are willing to put that bit of money aside to buy this one, it is good to go for, just for this brand new look of Boba Fett. Fully repainted armour, the jetpack is of course there, and as you can see there is the holes on there for the thrusters, for the jetpack rocket thrusters to go in there, because they were included with the old one, so you can tell it's sort of, they've reused that from the old Boba Fett from 2021, they've just repainted it fully green, because of course the missile is still removable from there, so that's always a good part to have on there. It does sit on nicely. The jetpack is a bit loose though, it doesn't seem to hold on massively brilliant, so I might end up gluing this down just because I don't see myself not having the Boba Fett on hold there. You do of course come with Boba Fett's rifle that he has in the show and in The Mandalorian. So of course he uses this to kill Bib Fortuna when he arrives in Jabba's palace, Bib Fortuna's palace or whatever it is, before he takes it for himself. And of course he does come with another blaster which he has in his holster there, of course taken from from basically Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian. And the rest of the body is just basically the new robes that he has in regards to what he's wearing underneath on Tython, and what he's been wearing on Tatooine. Because of course he does obtain new robes, because of course he loses his armour as shown in the flashback sequence in Book of Boba Fett, and eventually the Tuskens learn to accept him, and then they give him new robes which he wears for the next few years until he tracks Mando to Tython and gets his armour back. And just I'll say the rest of the sculpt does look great. Like, the paint application's gone well. There's the slight weathering, which he did retain, because we did repaint the armour after retrieving it, but he has retained a lot of the earlier weathering from before, just to sort of give it that old bit of aspect to it there. And of course the paint applications there, it's really well done, I'd definitely say, just for giving what we've got with a new look for Boba. And the gauntlets as well, all set there. And that's another thing in regards as well, the flamethrower pack. You do have the rocket launch flamethrower part, and I actually tested this because I do actually have two. I ended up buying two Boba Fett's from the Return of the Jedi one, because I decided to make a custom one based off his appearance on Tython, sorry, and so that will be placed. That's been placed on my Boba Fett shelf, and this will go in there too. So it's nice to sort of finally get this. And I think another thing to address for this is just the time we've got this. Like, compare this to when we had Force Awakens figures, because we had those released in September of 2015, before the Force Awakens even came out. We got our basic characters that we'd seen in the trailer: Finn, Rey, Kylo, Poe Dameron. We got characters like that released in the trailers, and it just bewilders me why Hasbro didn't sort of do like a lead-up wave in regards to the show, because they could have released this Boba Fett figure, they could have given us Fennec Shand, they could have given us just anyone we've seen in the trailers in regards to the series, because we had plenty seen there. We could have got the new Gamorrean guards. I mean, we have had the Gamorrean guards there, but they could have got a nice little reissue for Book of Boba Fett. And even the Matt Berry droid, the droid from Return of the Jedi, who was of course played by Matt Berry in the series. So there's just characters like that. We could have got that, like even just like a Mando or something, Mandalorian or something like that, just to fill up the wave as well, like an extra reissue of him, or like just some characters from Mando, just to fill up the wave. Like, that's what we got. I mean, I don't want to go too much into the rant on when we got this and give you the full figure details of what I like about it, because there is a lot to like about it, but of course some little features such as the loose pack, and the other one being the hand which is currently holding the blaster now. Like, this was a struggle to get the blaster in. You can already see I've already got some sort of bend marks from trying to get the blaster onto the hand. It just doesn't go on well when you try to. So I've already boiled the hand in order to have it more outstretched so that the blaster will actually fit on. So I've kind of got it there, but you can see already, like, I've already attempted to, if the camera will focus on it, like, I've tried to get it on before boiling, and I've almost snapped the actual extended part of the blaster. So you want to just be careful with that if you have it, because that will sort of be ready to snap. So I'd say if you do have this figure now and you haven't done this yet, give the hand a boil, because that'll just make it a bit easier to hold. The other blaster is of course removable from his holster, and as you can see I've dropped the jetpack again, so I'll just pick that up. So yeah, that's just, it does come off, because you see how easy that is to get off the figure. Like I said, I get the jetpack, the other blaster on. That has a much better fit for the character, so you could have him wielding this one instead if you wanted to. So that's also an option. And then of course there again with the finger trigger, it's actually further out, but because I've boiled it, it's now actually reaching it. So I'd say it's definitely something to look out for in regards to owning this figure and having it there. I'm going to put the blaster back in place so that you can see it. Because I've basically put it in, I've boiled it, I've got the hand more easily accessible into getting on the trigger. There you go, you can hold it and you have him in some good poses from the shows, including Book of Boba Fett or even Mando. Like, I'm just trying to think of what I really want to have him in. Like, I've got the pose from my custom one already, so that's all there. But even there further down, I am liking some of the sculpting down here. I am a bit bewildered as to why they chose to do plastic goods down at the lower parts, because I really think a soft goods would have been the absolute perfection. Like, even again talking back to my custom one, I did that with soft goods and it just sort of works better down there, because you can barely see the shin armor, the knee armor should I say, there with that in the fashion. Like when you bend it down, because the actual part there bends down, and then his knee armor is exposed there, sort of below his knees. So yeah, that's I've got two mixed views on this figure. It's a great figure, yes, but there's just parts of it that just don't quite get what you want from them. So I'd say if you haven't got this figure and you really want it, I'd say get it anyway, but just be wary of what you're sort of getting with this figure. I wouldn't call it a letdown, but I'm still saying that by sculpt and everything alone, the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett from last year still holds up my better Black Series figure that we've got. of Boba. I currently don't have the non-armoured Tython and Tatooine Boba yet, so I can't really give that one a view on until I get it. But this one, it's a decent Boba Fett figure. The paint application's great. The aspect to it, it does stand well, like pose well. Like I've already posed that pretty well with the blaster in hand. There's just parts of it that have their downsides to it. I mean, there is also the SH Figure Arts Bandai Boba Fett figure, which is also available there to get as well. So you have a choice basically. If you don't want to get the Black Series one, you want to just spend a little bit more, you can get the other one from SH Figure Arts. I was showing that, and it does look decent as well. So if you want to get your hands on that one instead, get your hands on that one. But there's definitely a choice there. And over on the articulation, you do get a ball jointed head, ball hinge shoulders. You do just about get the butterfly joints, but they are a little bit restricted, but you can see it there. Ball hinged elbows on both there. You'd also get these swivel. You don't this time. You don't actually get the swivel arm this time connected under there. Ball hinged wrists, as I say there. Ball jointed torso, which is again fairly restricted. Ball hinged hips, which can be easily done out there. Ball hinged knees, just like the Rebel pilots, like Antok Merrick and Luke Skywalker and Wedge. You do get these swivel legs where the feet are, and you also get the ball joint rocker at the ankle. So it's a good load of articulation on there this time around. I'll also take the helmet off so you can see that again without it on, because of course Boba does have the helmet off for a lot during Book of Boba Fett. Like even in the original trilogy, we never saw Boba without his helmet on, so it's actually quite nice to see him without it, and just giving that whole aspect to it. I do like that, especially with the underneath the Tusken robe, so the scarf bit. Of course, that's also not removable as well. So I do have. It is nice to own this figure at long last. Definitely, it's well sculpted at parts. It's nice to see a new Boba sculpt in this fashion, but there's just things that Hasbro didn't do well with it, and it's just a shame to see it there. But there is also, of course, as I've said, the option to get the SH Figure Art if that's the one you want to choose to get instead. That's also an option. But that is my Book of Boba Fett. It's a worthy figure. I'll leave a link to the description of Star Action Figures where you can buy it. And I also drop a like in this video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment, subscribe. My Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram links are all down there in the description below. And I'll see you in the next review whenever that may come.